Hey, good morning, everyone. Hi, Ricky.
How are you doing?
Ricky, I'm great. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Yes, sir.
Ricky, are you a teacher?
I'm a parent, but I am an educator.
Great.
Yes, sir.
We're excited to have everybody here. Hey, Ryder. Hi, Ramona. Hi, Jen. Sienna. Hi, Sienna. Sarah, nice background. Nice touch.
My name's Ava. That's
Ava, can you change your name on your screen?
Hi, Rebecca. Good morning.
If you go up to the three little dots on the right-hand side and click on them, you can go down to rename and then just type in your first name there.
So guys, thanks for everybody joining early. We're going to get started here, looks like in about 15 minutes. But thank you for everybody for being on. Please just take yourself off mute if you have any questions. We're here to help. Hey, Ava, would you like me to change your name for you?
Yeah, I can't find the three little dots.
No problem. Ava, is it just AVA? Great.
Would you be able to do that and add Serene's name by Sienna too, please?
Serene by Sienna.
Yeah, because it's both my daughters.
You got it. How do you spell it?
S-E-R-E.
S-E-R-E?
S-E-R-E-N-E.
Like that? Sienna and Serene.
There's Serene. It's the, instead of the A, it's an E.
You got it.
Your backgrounds all look great, you guys.
Thank you.
Morning, JT.
Hello, can you please change my name for me?
Yeah, for sure.
It's Jameson, J-A-Y.
Yep.
M-E-S-O-N.
Like that?
Yep, thank you.
You're welcome.
She's like,
Hold on. All right. Is my microphone working?
Yes, ma'am. Sounds great. Hello, ma'am. How are you?
Hi, Karina. Hey, Sienna and Serene. Hi, Ava. I like your background. How's it going, Ryder?
Ramona, you're on mute.
Ricky White, is that Meme? Memingua? Or is she not on? Or am I just not seeing her?
Ramona, Ricky is on.
She is getting logged on right now.
Oh, okay.
Great.
Hi, Jameson. It's nice to meet you.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you get on that?
You got to click on click on the link there where it says
I don't even have an email from you yet.
yeah, it should be there. I sent it.
Okay. Here it is.
You got it?
Yes, but it showed up on my phone only, not on my iPad.
Oh, probably because you don't have your email on your iPad, so I wonder if you could you log in on the big computer and because your mom has the email too, she can just click on that link.
I'll just do the basement. Sure. It might be links in there. Where's your email?
Morning, Brandon.
Morning. Hey.
How you doing?
Very good.
I have those two other twins who can't get on Zoom with their iPad. Dang it.
Hey, Ramona, if they do it in their browser, they can enter, they can do it that way. There should be a browser on their iPad, or they can download the app on their iPad if they want. It's free.
Hey, Rob, just one quick housekeeping thing. After we go through, or I go through introductions for Lester and then turn it over to Rebecca, I'll probably turn my video off and just sit quietly in the background and let the discussion roll.
Yep, same with me, Brandon. That sounds great.
Okay.
Hey, Ramona, if they wanted to call me, I'm happy to help them with that, if that's helpful.
Okay.
We can FaceTime and I can figure it out with them.
What's your number?
917-744-4862.
Oh, you better get quiet. I'm so quiet.
Oh, he says he got it. I don't know what that means. The number, the link, or connected.
We'll find out soon.
I think Meme's ready to get in. Is she waiting somewhere?
Let's see. No, ma'am.
Hey, while we wait for our couple of other people to get on, why don't we have the students that are on unmute and say hi, and we'll just introduce ourselves to each other quickly. You want to start, Ava?
Sure. Hi, my name's Ava. I'm part of the Meskwaki tribe and I'm Bear Clan.
Thanks, Ava. Thanks for being here today. Sienna and Serene?
Hi, I'm Serene Thinok. I am Sichanga Lakota Yate, and I'm Sistin Waptino Yate tribe. Hi, I'm Sienna. I'm basically part of the same tribes as her. Yeah, she's the same tribe as us.
Thanks for joining us, ladies. Jameson?
Hi, I'm Jameson. I come from the Cheyenne River and Standing Rock Sioux tribes.
Welcome, Jameson. Nice to meet you. Ryder?
Hi, I'm Ryder, and I come from the Shakopee Minnewacan Sioux community.
Thanks for being here, Ryder. And then we have, is it Ricky? Who's under that name?
Ricky's the dad. He's trying to get Meme on.
Okay, Meme. And then we have one other student that we're waiting on.
We're waiting on Robert and Cheske Henry.
Okay.
Hey, Rebecca, I'm working. Ramona, I'm on the phone with your nephew, I think, and I will. We're figuring it out.
Okay, thank you.
Do any of you guys have any questions or anything before we get started?
No, but I was thinking that maybe you could ask us about our background since me and Sienna and Serene have backgrounds.
So we're gonna kick this off with introductions. So I think when we do introductions, feel free to elaborate however you want as far as what your background is, why you're excited to be here. Hopefully you're excited to be here. And anything else, whether it's, your tribal background or if you have particular interests, please feel free to share any of that.
Okay.
I was just wondering, like, are they gonna ask all the questions they gave us, like the whole outline, or like how is it all gonna be set up?
I don't think we're going to have time for all of the questions because I want you each to be able to speak to them if you want. I'm probably going to kick it off with an easy one just to get us all warmed up. So I was thinking we'd start with what's your favorite food from your culture? Because I think food is something everybody can relate to and get behind, and it's just a nice, easy way to ease into it. And then I was going to talk about, want you guys to talk about what makes you proud to be Native American, what makes you proud to be an Indian person, and then we can keep going from there. Then moving into some stereotypes and misconceptions that you may want to address, and then talking about role models. Most mainstream people today can't even name one Indian person that's alive today. So it's always good to not only think about the past role models, but some of our role models that are living and doing good work today. Other things, if we have time, we'll go into what we want others to know about our cultures and our communities. We can talk a little bit about our values and what that means to us and how we live our daily lives and approach different things. And then talk about Shiros and heroes that we can have people learn more about. And then probably wrap it up with just a blanket. Is there anything else you think people need to know before we wrap up?
Okay, that sounds good.
Rob,
Hi,
just let
Rebecca. Yeah,
when
just want to
you're
say
ready.
Lester Bagley here. Just
Hey,
saying hello.
Lester. Thank you so much
Hey there.
for participating and supporting this initiative.
Happy to be here. Thanks for having partnership, and we appreciate you.
Let me know when we're ready to go, and I'll jump in with quick introductions and we'll roll through, but I want to make sure that we don't leave anyone out.
Ready when you are. Rebecca, are we ready?
We're waiting for,
I think we might have a couple more students that are just
2
waiting to
students,
connect.
Okay.
Robert
stand by.
and Chaske. And I see Meme.
Meme Ingwa.
Meme Ingwa. Nice to meet you.
As we're almost there. Sorry.
No worries.
Good. Thank you. You guys have fun.
Thanks for your help, Ramona, recruiting students.
Before we do get started, this is Brandon with the Minnesota Vikings, and I just want to thank all the students. I know that you all have busy schedules with schoolwork or adjusting to being at home for school, and so thank you so much for your time to be part of this important discussion. And we really, from the Viking side, we really appreciate it. So thank you guys.
I'm hoping, can you hear that buzz in the background when my computer fan turns on?
If it was just happening, I couldn't hear it.
Okay, good.
Okay, Rebecca, we're gonna talk later about your computer fan.
And two, as we go through this, I want to give everybody an opportunity kind of at a first shot. So if anybody wants to go first, let me know, and they can tackle the first question. And then I kind of plan to just go around the cube. I assume we're all set up. So I see myself and Ava on the top. And then I see Sienna and Serene and Jameson in the middle. And then Ryder and Meme. And then a couple of people on the bottom. Is that what everybody else sees?
Yes.
Like we're almost. I think they need. They're signing on their phones, so they're doing that. They should be on in 1 minute.
Okay.
You can start. Yeah, when you're ready.
Should we maybe just give it a couple more minutes in case they can get logged in? I mean, I know it's not a huge issue if they log in a few minutes in, but we'll just wait a little bit.
Yep. There we go.
Guys, if you're just joining, would you mind changing your name on your screen so we can see your first name only? There's a 3 little dots in the top right corner. You can click on that and it'll let you rename it. Okay. I think that's it, Rebecca.
All right, we got everyone?
Yep.
All right. I see Chaske. Were we waiting for Robert?
Okay, I'm in.
Okay. You can change your name on there.
Robert, if you want, you can change your name. And I think from your phone, that should be, if you tap the screen, somewhere along the border, there should be 3 little dots that you can click, and then there'll be an option to rename. And then you can just put your first name in there if you want.
I can do it for you, Robert. How's that?
Okay, yeah, you should do it for me if you can hear me.
Is that great? That good?
Yeah.
All right. If everyone's ready, we'll kick it off here.
All right, if we could have all the students turn on your videos, and then I think we can probably stay unmuted for those of you that are in the conversation.
And then once we get through introductions, just so everyone's aware, I'll mute and stop my video and then let you all take off with the conversation. All right. Here we go. Hey everyone, my name is Brandon Clemens and I'm the Director of Youth Marketing with the Minnesota Vikings. Thank you all for joining us today. We're very happy to partner with Everfi and the United Way to share this discussion for Native American Heritage Month. And before we get started, just a little bit about Everfi. They deliver the Character Playbook program in schools here in Minnesota and throughout the country. Character Playbook, for those that are unaware, is a digital course that uses evidence-based strategies to educate students on how to cultivate and maintain healthy relationships during those critical teen years, covering key concepts around positive character development, social emotional learning, and building healthy relationships. The Character Playbook program is available cost-free to Minnesota schools and students with the support of the NFL, the Minnesota Vikings, and the United Way, and contains students-directed digital lessons, offline learning plans, resource videos, and more. Before we get into it, I just want to give a huge thank you to our amazing student panel participating in the discussion today. Now, as we get into the program, I want to introduce Lester Bagley, who is the Executive Vice President of Public Affairs with the Minnesota Vikings.
Thanks a lot, Brandon. Good afternoon, all. Thanks all for being here. I had a little technical difficulty, so I'm on my iPad. I'm not able to change my name, but my first name is Lester. I've been at the Vikings for roughly 20 years, working on community relations, public relations, and legislative and external relations. But that's kind of my role for the Vikings. Worked on facilities, working with our ownership and our community. So thank you to Everfi. Thank you, Brandon, for the invitation and for helping to coordinate and organize the discussion today. My brief role is just to say good morning and welcome. Thank you for your partnership, but just maybe provide a little background and perspective on the Minnesota Vikings and our relationship with our Native American community. We are grateful for our longstanding relationship with the tribes, with our Native community, with your leadership. The Vikings have worked well with our Native community. We have great fans, Viking fans. We have business partners. And as I said, prominent community relationships and work, including with Rebecca Crooks-Stratton and others in some of the tribal leadership in our state. One thing we worked on and for many years was to apply pressure to the NFL and to the Washington football team to change the name of their team and their mascot. We worked well with our community, our Native American leadership, our Lieutenant Governor, and others to put that pressure on, and we're really happy and pleased that change has been made going forward, and we're looking forward to other ways that we can work together. So I did want to mention briefly, in addition to your community, and I wanted to mention that our relationships with some of the leadership of the Native community in Minnesota, specifically Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan, Supreme Court Justice Ann McCaig. Both of those folks have been great partners of the Vikings. We're proud. You should be proud of these very successful and prominent leaders in our state, in our country, and we've learned a lot, and we continue to work with those leaders. So I'll wrap there, other than to say welcome and thank you. We appreciate you being here. We appreciate our working relationship. We appreciate what you stand for, your culture, and what you represent to and for Minnesota. So we're committed to continue our dialogue and working relationship, and so happy to step in and continue our participation and collaboration. So with that, unless there are questions or comments, thanks, Brandon.
Excellent. Thank you, Lester. We're very fortunate to have Rebecca Crooks-Stratton lead our discussion today. Rebecca is the Secretary-Treasurer of the Shakopee, Mdewakanton Sioux community. And so Rebecca, thank you for being here. I will now turn the program over to you and the students for our discussion.
Sounds good. Thank you, Brandon. Thank you, Lester, for being here and for our partnership. We do appreciate having allies in the greater community. Hamatakiapi, Hahana Zikata Winnie, Chante Washte, Unape Chiuzapi, Wasichu Ea, Rebecca Crooks-Stratton Namakiapi, Shakpe Badewakantawa, Ma Dakota, Donya Yahipi, Iyokpi Uyankpi. Hello, all my relatives. My Dakota name is Morning Bird, and I greet you with an open heart. My English name is Rebecca Crooks-Stratton, and I'm really excited to be here with you all today. I'm from the Shakopee Mdewakanton Sioux community. We're a federally recognized sovereign tribe here in the state of Minnesota, just southwest of the Twin Cities. Our Dakota Mdewakanton ancestors have lived in this region for centuries, since time immemorial. Today, our tribe is proud to partner with local governments, nonprofits, and organizations to work on important issues and causes across all of our communities. I really want to thank Lester and Brandon and our partnership with the Minnesota Vikings. As Lester said, we've worked on some really important issues and moved the needle on getting the Washington team to change their names. And I think that highlights the importance of these partnerships and working across our communities. I'd also like to thank Character Playbook for giving us this opportunity to educate folks, especially from the perspective of our youth. They have a lot of important wisdom to share. Today in the United States, there are 574 federally recognized tribes that are sovereign nations and hold a special place in the United States and in their relationship with the United States and the federal government. Each tribe is unique and it has its own history and culture and government, and we have a little sampling of students from different tribes across the country. Here in Minnesota, there are 11 tribes, and I think it's really important that we have these conversations because our current history books don't teach about Native Americans and our history and the greater history of the United States. Most history books stop at about 1900 and really leaves a gap and an invisibility of Native people in the textbooks and across the country. This is one of the reasons why the Shakopee Mdewakanton Sioux community created a campaign called Understand Native Minnesota. We're working with students and teachers and the general public to increase people's understanding of tribes and Native Americans. Today, I'm excited to introduce you to this panel of talented Native students to share a little bit about their communities, their cultures, and their traditions. I'm grateful for the opportunity to give power to their voices so they can share their narrative. To get started, we're gonna just go around and have everybody introduce themselves. And we'll start at the top here with Ava.
Oh, Amukamani Isawan Ava. I just said, hello, my name is Ava. I'm from the Meskwaki tribe and I am Bear Clan. My native name is Akwadebiaseku. My background is my tribe's flag. The green stands for the Dukans and the red stands for, the green stands for the Gishkus and the red stands for the Dukans. There were two different types of people in my tribe. When my tribe was threatened, the Dukans would stay and fight while the Gishkus would hide until the fight was over. It was a survival mechanism that was very particular to my tribe, and that is why it is represented on our flag.
Thank you, Ava. Thanks for being here. Serene?
Hamandakiapi, Chante Washte Nape Chuzapi, Okanhediwi Dakota Amakiapi, Serene English Amakiapi. Hello, relatives. I greet you with a warm heart and a handshake. Sacred Lightning Woman is my Dakota name, and Serene is my English name. I am Sichangu Lakota Oyate and Sistan Wapton Oyate tribe.
Thanks, Serene. Sienna?
Hi, my name is Sienna. I am part of the Lakota tribe and the Dakota tribe. And
Welcome. Thanks for being here.
yeah.
I think next we have Jameson.
Mataki api makpea ia imachi api e musohama makpe washte imataha. Hello, my name is Jameson. I come from Cheyenne River and Standing Rock Sioux tribes. I am in grade 9 and I'm Lakota.
Welcome, Jameson. Thank you. Hi, Ryder.
Hi. Ho mataki api. Dakota ia chaske ka washichu ia rider amaki api. Biroaka tuan hamaka do. Hello, friends and relatives. My Dakota name is Chaske. My English name is Ryder. My people are the Mdewakanton, which means dwellers of the Spirit Lake.
Thanks, Ryder. Meme Nagwa?
Hello, everybody. My name is Memengwa. I am part of the Alabama Kashada tribe in Texas. My Indian name is Wabanoikoi, which means woman of the rising sun.
Thank you. Chaske?
Dakiapi Cheske Makia Damkota Ka Hantua Himasha Abretusta Ka Isanti Hemataha. Hello, my relatives. My name is Cheske. I am Dakota and Ojibwe. My people come from Leech Lake and Isanti.
Welcome, Chaske. Robert?
Madakiapi, Robert Amakiapido. Hello, I'm Robert. I am in 9th grade, and I come from Leech Lake and Santi.
Welcome. Thank you, everyone, for introducing yourselves, and thank you so much for being here today. We're going to kick this off with a nice, easy question, something we all can get behind, and especially as we approach the lunch hour, are probably thinking about. In our different communities, we have a lot of favorite and traditional foods. I'd like you to just talk a little bit about what your favorite food is, and if you know a little bit of the history behind it or the region it comes from, please share a little bit about that. And we're gonna go in backwards order this time. So we'll start with Meme Nagwa.
Hello again. It's actually Memengwa.
Memengwa. Thank you.
Memengwa.
Memengwa. Okay.
Yes. Well, mine's just simple. I love fry bread. I'm obsessed with fry bread. I don't exactly know where it originally comes from, but I know a lot of people eat it. So, oops.
Thank you. Fry bread actually was created during the reservation era when commodities were given to Native Americans, and it was a bread they created out of the commodities that they were given when they were put on reservations. But I agree, it is a tasty treat. Robert?
I like wild rice. I don't really know the history of that.
Do you have a favorite wild rice dish?
Wild rice soup. It's pretty good.
How about you, Chaske?
I like Ojapi and water soup.
Well, can you tell us a little bit about what wojapi is?
Ojapi is like strawberry strawberry gravy, sort of.
Yeah, I agree. That is good. My grandma made wojapi. How about you, Ryder?
I would have to say Indian tacos or just like stews that my grandma makes. But we always have like this joke in our family that, you know, she makes like Indian mac and cheese or Indian cheeseburgers because she's making it. And so, you know, whatever she makes is pretty tasty.
True, our grandmas are the best.
True, that's downright true of everything.
Yes. How about you, Jameson?
I like buffalo.
Ooh, yes. Bison,
Buffalo's
what do you have
You relied on
a
it.
favorite bison dish?
I like it with fried bread, but not really. Not really a dish.
How about Sienna and Serene?
Buffalo and hominy soup, and I actually don't really know the origin of where it came from, but I just know that in my mom's side of the family and my dad's side of the family, both Lakota and Dakota, they would make it a lot. When we had gatherings, like family gatherings, and a lot of people would come, would kind of like be there to like welcome them and feed our family. And in our culture, a lot what you do is the kids will go and help make the plates, and we'll feed the elders first, and then we go down from there, because elders are very important in our Native community.
Yeah, for those that may not know what hominy is, can you tell us a little bit about what it is?
It's kind of hard to explain. It's kind of like corn that looks white, but it's like, I don't really know how to like explain it, but it's just really good.
I agree. Yeah, definitely a corn. How about you, Sienna? Oh, I can't hear you.
Can you hear us now?
Yep.
Okay. Probably the beef and hominy soup, and then like the Indian tacos is that you usually eat both of them together.
Okay. Ava?
One of my favorite traditional foods is part of the Three Sisters, and the Three Sisters was kind of a farming technique that I feel most Native Americans used, where they grew beans, corn, and rice, beans, corn, and squash together on like the same vine or the same plant. And one of my favorite foods is wabigoon, which is butternut squash, which grew in that same kind of farming plot or on that technique. And my aunties, when I go down to my tribe, they make wabigoon sometimes, and we make it up here sometimes when we can get a couple of butternut squashes, and it's just really good. It's kind of like mashed up butternut squash. It's like mashed potatoes, but with butternut squash, and it's a lot sweeter, and it's just really good.
Ooh, I don't think I've tried that. I might have to put that one on my list.
Yeah.
Thank you all for that. I think we're gonna move on to a question that really highlights, where our pride comes from in being Native American. We have a lot of things to be proud of in our communities, and I'm just wondering what makes you most proud to be Native American, or most proud about your community. Ava, you want to kick us off?
Sure. One of the things that makes me most proud about my community in particular is that my tribe, the Meskwaki tribe of Iowa, when they were forcing us out of our land for the second time, because my tribe originated in the Great Lakes area, and then because of the Indian Removal Act, they pushed us down to Iowa, and then they pushed us down to Oklahoma, Kansas area. But then some of my people came back to the last place that they knew that we had been, which was Iowa, which is where we are now. And the state of Iowa passed an unusual legislation to let us buy our own land. So we don't have a reservation, we have a settlement. We bought the first 80 acres of our own land with our own money. And we are the only tribe who was able to do that. And that is something that makes me very proud of my community.
That's great. Anyone want to volunteer to go next? Go ahead, Serene.
Okay. I just want to say that for me, it's probably the morals and values that a lot of Native Americans have in common. Just the way they lived a long time ago. They used to thrive. They were all healthy, happy, and cared for one another in a way that really shaped the meaning in my culture of Oyate, which means kind of like family. And we all used to really take care of each other. Like, even if we had a small portion of food, we make sure everybody gets the equal amount, and we would always take care of, like how I touched on earlier, the elders were very important because they're seen as wise, and everyone cared for like the younger kids and everything. It was just like the way of life they had back then. It was just really wholesome, and I really like to carry those morals and values with me today.
Thanks, Serene. Sienna, you want to chime in?
Sure. I'm proud to be Native American is because even though my people have gone through so much, we're still here, and we're still fighting, and we're still, we fought through everything and we went through so much. But yeah, we still like
Thank you. Jump in.
I want to say I'm most proud of still being here today because we survived one of the greatest genocides on the soil. So I think, yeah.
I agree. Thank you for that. Anyone feel free to jump in. Yep.
What I would want to say why I'm so proud that I'm Native American is because it proves that we were resilient, we were strong enough to still be standing here today. Like it means that I'm still standing, I'm here. I'm an actual person still standing here after all the trials we had to face, all the hurt and everything that we've had to walk through, what we've been through, all the years, we're still standing here. That's why I'm proud to be Native American.
I agree. It really is a testament to the resilience of our ancestors that we all are standing on their shoulders today. Anybody else want to chime in?
I would have to say I'm really proud of the traditions that have been passed down because even through all of that hardship, they never changed who we were. They kept to what they know and they passed down like really important traditions.
Great. Robert, you want to say anything?
Yeah, I'm proud to be Native American because, like Jameson said, we survived genocide.
Cheske, you want to comment?
A bunch of my cat's hair got into my system and my I'm like sneezing and stuff, so like I'm like on mute. But one thing I'm really proud of to be Native American, pretty much everybody already covered the bases. Like, we're still here, we survived one of the biggest genocides that's been committed in the world, and assimilation. Our ancestors passed down very important traditions, and without those traditions, we wouldn't know who we were today. So, yeah.
I agree. I think there's definitely a theme here in that that resilience and being proud that we're still here and get to carry on our culture and our traditions. I think it definitely is a testament to our communities and really living in those values and passing them down from generation to generation.
One thing I'd like to say though is that we're still doing those things today. We're still teaching our children. We're still teaching the world about what's happening to us. And people are still trying to beat down on us and not let the truth come out. They aren't changing the history books. They aren't changing their mascots. And that is still something we're fighting against. We still fight against oppression and racism every day. And the fight continues, but we've kept our traditions through history and we're keeping them now.
I agree. Yes, it's pretty special that we were able, in the light of everything that happened to our people, that we are able to keep those traditions and our cultures alive today.
Can I say something on that too?
Of course.
I just want to say that like our people also they never really hold hate in their hearts, and even though a lot of colonizers, you know, did terrible things, like a lot of unspeakable things, like the culture assimilation, and then there's a lot of trauma that goes into it. A lot of natives would still go, and you know, we would still go and help a lot of the colonizers. Like, we never held hate in our heart, and that goes to just show like kind of like the morals and values that like just the how we are and stuff, I guess.
I agree. That's been a source of pride for many of us, and just the way that we carry ourselves and treat and respect other people. Does anybody else want to, any last comments before we move on? Feel free to just speak up. All right. So we're going to move on to talk a little bit about stereotypes. I think Native Americans are largely invisible across the country, and that invisibility is partly because of the stereotypes that are perpetuated in mainstream media. A lot of times we are relegated to the past only. People don't realize that we are still here as modern Native people, contributing to our local economies and our local communities. So I want to talk a little bit about those stereotypes that exist and why they are harmful to individuals in our communities. So if anyone wants to start off, can you talk about maybe one stereotype that exists in Native culture and maybe why it's a stereotype?
I can start it off. There's some stereotypes where people think that we're just one tribe. In Minnesota, we have 11 tribes and over 5 tribes nationwide. So that's one of the stereotypes.
I think another one is that we're all alcoholics and that we're bad people that do bad things. And the stereotypes about the past, I think, are actually, they get those wrong too. And when they decide to show us in the media, it is normally in the past, but when they show us in the past, I feel like that's also been kind of messed up as well, because they show a lot of people, I feel like they show the wrong images of us in the past, or they show distorted images of us in the past. They don't show the real us. They don't show the pictures from the Trail of Tears. They don't show the pictures of us playing lacrosse. They don't show the pictures of us doing things before then. And they don't show the pictures of us going to the boarding schools. They don't show the pictures of the colonizers cutting our hair and taking our children. They don't show the pictures of us today, which is what's important, because again, about us being invisible, that's how they are killing us slowly, is that when people don't know about your problems, they can't help you. When people don't know that you exist or know that this problem exists, they can't do anything because they don't know about it. Lack of representation is one of our main issues today, and I think it's always been. They don't show us, and they don't show what happened to us, all of us. They show some pieces, and they don't show other pieces. They only show what they want others to see because they control it. And what we're really fighting against is being able to tell everybody and show everybody and let people know what happened to us. Like, we are among you today. We are here, and we are still fighting.
A stereotype I would like to share is that our regalia is our costumes. They are not costumes.
I guess a stereotype that I would like to talk about would be the drug and alcohol abuse. You know, I feel like it's when it's talked about, it's very focused on Native Americans, when it's actually, you know, something that is nationwide and is not very, like, you know, common within our people.
Thank you. Sorry, guys, I had a technical difficulty and I don't know what happened, but I got kicked out for a moment, so I missed some of the answers. So I'll just have you keep going if you haven't had a chance to speak.
Okay, sorry about that. A lot of people think that we have like all kinds of unfair like benefits with the government, and for example, like free healthcare. But if you look into it a lot, the healthcare we are given is actually really terrible because we usually get the worst doctors with backgrounds sometimes. I come from Sisseton Wapton Oyate tribe, and in Sisseton there's a hospital called I can't remember, it's something Keeble. But anyways, so a lot of the times doctors have backgrounds like child predatory, Stanley Patrick Weber, who preyed on young boys. It's sickening, like things like that, or the inconsistency of Indian healthcare can be disorganized with poor record keeping and adequate testing, poor communication. They lack a lot of resources for patients. So there's a lot more to that concept than what people may think they know. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I'd like to remind folks that when Native Americans gave up land and, you know, sacrificed their way of life and were moved onto reservations, the federal government in exchange was to provide benefits such as healthcare and education. And so I think that's where that misconception or stereotype of they get free services or free things comes from. But in reality, our ancestors and our current people gave up a lot to get those benefits, and yet they're still very inadequate to meet the needs of our communities. So thank you for that. I agree. You guys there?
I'm here.
I think Rebecca might just be frozen.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Too.
We can give her a minute to maybe kind of reboot, and don't worry about the flow. We can, the magic of editing, take out this little gap. But I definitely want to give her a chance to kind of refresh or log out, log back in to keep the conversation going.
I have a list. I have the list of questions with me. So we could keep going while we wait for her because we don't want to waste any time, I don't think.
Yeah, if everyone's okay with that, Ava, if you don't mind sharing some of those questions, and you all can continue the conversation.
I think that'd be cool.
Kind of going on this, what are some meaningful traditions is one of the questions. Yeah. I'll start. One of my meaningful traditions is that every year we come together and eat in September or October in the fall as an entire tribe or a family or whoever comes, but we all meet down on the settlement and we cook a lot of food. We all do it together. Before we eat, there's a group prayer, and then the food is distributed to everybody. And kind of like Serene was saying, it's the elders first and the children first, the youngest and the oldest first, and then the stronger of the family serves themselves. It's all about family and coming together and keeping those traditions alive and speaking our language together and just kind of being whole as a tribe and a family, cooking those traditional foods, speaking our traditional language, and just kind of being present day Native people.
One tradition that I really like is powwow, and I'm sure everybody else loves that too, because it feels like you were successful, our ancestors were successful and were able to do something so special to us, and it really makes you feel like everybody in the community is coming together, and I think it's just a really unique and cool thing that we do.
Ryder, could you say a little bit more about what powwow is?
It's basically a gathering, and tribes from all over can come to, we have a big powwow in Shakopee, and, there's a big one in Prairie Island, and it's basically you dance. There are different dance categories that represent different things, and there are regalias that are unique to those categories, and most of the time, well, usually it's a competition. And it's just really fun. There's a lot of food, vendors, and it's just like a good time to get everybody to get together. And it's usually open to the public. So it's really cool to like show people that, we are still here. And it is a very eye-opening thing for people that have never seen stuff like that. And I think it's really cool that we can spread awareness about us through such a big gathering like that.
Does anybody else like to share about their experience with powwow and like maybe something that's unique from your perspective?
Yeah, I kind of want to go off of that. Thank you, Ryder, for that. I really enjoy powwows a lot because, I just feel like everyone you see is Native, and like you finally are around your people and you feel welcomed and happy, and you see little kids running around, they're happy. You see elders come out, and with that too, I used to dance actually fancy shaw, that's one of them, and I used to do jingle dress, and an elder told me one time that jingle dress that dance was made to help heal, and so every time I would go out in the arena, I would look for someone like an elder, and then I would dance for them. And so I just thought that that was really powerful and healing. I feel like POWs are actually healing in a lot of ways. It makes people forget about things going on at home and a lot of trauma that our people had to endure throughout all these years. So I really enjoy that.
Great.
Yeah, I'd like to carry on with all that powwow. I like the chance it gives me because like I was actually apprentice for District 279. It gave me a chance to travel everywhere. I represent us. Gave me a chance to learn new things, meet new people. All this time to just figure out who I really was actually as a person. It taught me so much over the years. Still does. Oh, God.
Jameson, you want to add to that? Okay. Thanks, Sean.
Another one of the questions is, do you have any heroes or Shiros from your culture or your heritage or just anyone? And actually, if you don't mind, I have a few, but I'll be quick about it. I play lacrosse, and the reason we found out about it is because we do have such a large Native community up in the Twin Cities. And my uncles and aunts were going to something that this one person had been setting up. His name is John Hunter, and he's been working for years now to set up a Native lacrosse league and to just bring the game back into people's hearts and kind of tell people about that. So now we do community games like almost every weekend. Not anymore because it's snowy and cold, but during the summer we all meet up and we have sticks that he brings that anybody can use, and we play as a group. And that's just, it's amazing that he was able to set that up for everyone, because I can really see that it brings us together as a community, even if we aren't all from the same tribe or don't always know everybody who's there. We can meet new people and make new connections and just come together as Native people and play the game. For those of you who don't know, lacrosse is a traditional game that Native people have been playing for centuries. They called it stickball, and it came before modern lacrosse, I guess. Up here, lacrosse is pretty popular, I've noticed. When I lived in Iowa, I didn't know what lacrosse was. I didn't hear about it. I didn't see it. Had no idea what it was. And then I came up here and my relatives introduced me, and I was like, oh, this is really fun. And I didn't know that it originally came from Native people, because the first thing I was introduced to was actually modern lacrosse, the ones that schools play and have tournaments for, but it's not the same. They use a different stick. They have different rules. And, but yeah, I think it's really amazing that he was able to set up a Native lacrosse league and bring the community together like that.
Thanks, Ava. Sorry about that, everyone. I don't know what's going on, but my computer doesn't want to work for me, but you guys got this handled, so I'll just let you keep going.
Does anybody else want to share about the heroes and Shiros? Thank you, Ava.
I will. So as corny as it may seem, one of my heroes is my dad. You know, he so when me and my siblings were younger, we used to live with our grandma, because my mother and my dad, they're heavily into drug abuse and alcohol abuse, and my dad he actually recovered from alcohol abuse and drug abuse, and both of those in native statistics that's very rare. So, and he's been sober for like 9 years now, 8 years. So I'm pretty proud to be his son. Another one of my heroes is Ruben Staley. He's actually my older cousin, but one of the reasons that he's my hero is because he's taught me so much. He's pretty much introduced me to Dakota language and our traditions and our ceremonies. And I don't know where I'd be right now without that, because that's really sacred. But and then probably my last hero is Jim Thorpe. He was one of the first Native athletes to like make it out or whatever. So, yeah.
Yeah, thanks for that, Chaske. I think it is important to remember that we have heroes and sheroes really close to home too. It doesn't always have to be a public figure.
If we are going to talk about public figures, though, I'd like to mention Peggy Flanagan, our Lieutenant Governor, who's White Earth Ojibwe, and Ann McCaig, who's part of the Minnesota Supreme Court. And I'm pretty sure she's the first Native woman on the Minnesota Supreme Court to hold that position. And that's huge for everybody because representation is what we need. We need more people in mainstream media just spreading our culture and who we are out there. And those two people have really helped everything in that direction. They've made it even more possible for Native youth and Native women to have a chance.
I agree. Thank you for that. That brings up the issue of having public figures who look like us to look up to, and why that representation is important. And can anyone speak to maybe what inspires them about their sheroes or their heroes that are public figures, and maybe some of the barriers they're breaking down for us to come after them?
Another Native person that I didn't mention was Shiros Davids, who actually recently won her re-election to, I think it's Congress. She's a state representative for Kansas. And she used to be an MMA fighter. She's openly LGBT, and she's a woman, and she's part of the Ho-Chunk community down there in Kansas. And she got reelected. She even got elected the first time. And what's just, for all of those barriers, being a woman, being a Native woman, being LGBT, what?
Oh, am I on speaker?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No problem. It's just, all of those are some huge modern day barriers. They aren't even modern day barriers. They're just barriers that have been there for a long time. And she's breaking down all of those barriers by being herself unapologetically and finding people who support her and representing us. So she is one of my sheroes.
Thank you. Anybody else?
One of my heroes isn't really a public figure, but it's my uncle. And he's one of my heroes because he knows a lot about our past and, a lot of the stories that came before me. And I think that's really important to like know what happened to our people. And so that's why I really look up to him, because he's making sure that, what happened in the past is learned about and is taught to, me and like my brothers and cousins, so that we know what happened and, we can't hear this distorted truth that we hear at school or on the news, and we know what the truth is. And I think that's really important.
I agree. Does anybody else want to follow up with that? Serene, Sienna, did you guys have an opportunity?
Not really, but could we talk about something we want people to know about natives? Like, if no one else has anything else to say.
Yeah, before we move on, Jameson, anyone?
I would say my uncle, because he teaches me a lot of stuff about the past and what has happened, and teaches me traditions, which I really do appreciate.
I think there are a lot of people within our communities, within our immediate families, and in the greater Indian country that we have as positive role models. So I think we're all pretty lucky and see the value in that. Before we move on, any last comments? And Serene, you wanted to talk about, you want to kick us off?
Sure. Okay, so I wrote this thing and it says, the white man has tried to get rid of us ever since he set foot in our land and troubled from the beautiful color of our skin to our powerful voices that carried over Mother Earth. I can admit that they have succeeded in damaging my people. They may have won the battle, though they haven't defeated us in the war of healing and finding the meaning of Oyate again, which means like family in my language. I want people to know that we are still here. We still fight every day, whether it's against addiction, trauma, physical illness, or mental health that was strategically inflicted upon my people to make us disappear. We are a strong people who will be whole again one day. The brightest day arises after the darkest of times. Mitakiwasin, we are all related in this together.
Thanks, well said. Anybody else want to talk about some other things, misconceptions or other things you want people to know about Native Americans or our communities?
I think some misconceptions are that we're all the same, kind of. I mean, I feel like when most people think of Indians, they think of teepees and horses and stuff like that, like Plains Indians. I think that that's kind of the main thing that they think about, when in reality, we're different. We're very different. When you take the Seminole Indians who lived in Florida and in my tribe who lives in Iowa right now, we have a lot of differences. What we wore, what we ate, what language we spoke, what our housing was like. My tribe lives in wickiups. We don't live in teepees. We live in wickiups, which were made from bending saplings over and putting pine boughs on them. Because we didn't have buffalo pelts, because we originated in like the Ontario Great Lakes area. There were no buffalo. We were a woodlands tribe. So why would we have teepees when we don't even have the materials to make teepees? I don't know that much about tribes who live on the West Coast, but I'm sure that they're extremely different from my tribe, from tribes that live in the Montana or the Dakotas, from tribes that live in Louisiana and Texas. We're all different. We speak different languages. Yes, we're from the same ethnicity. Yes, we're all Indians, but we're all very different and unique in our own special ways.
Good. Robert, Chaskay, do you guys want to chime in? Any misconceptions or?
Not for me, no.
Okay. Jameson, go ahead. And then Memnagwe. I'm not gonna get that right. I'm sorry.
One of the misconceptions that frustrates me is when people say that we scream when we sing in our own language and we're singing something that's meaningful. So, I mean, it kind of frustrates me how people want to say that we're screaming and we're not saying anything.
It's like because it's not English or it doesn't sound like English, then it's not okay and it's not right. It's weird and it's gross because it doesn't look like us or sound like us and we don't understand it. So we're just going to call it names and hate it because it doesn't look or sound like us. I think that's really where that comes from for some people because it doesn't sound like English. It doesn't sound like what you read in most books in America or sound like what you hear other people say. People don't understand it, henceforth they don't like it. They don't understand how powerful it is to speak your own language because they take it for granted because their own language is spoken every day. We're speaking it right now. So people can understand us, but also because I will admit I'm not conversationally fluent in my own language, and I don't know how many other people are, and languages are dying out in native cultures everywhere. People don't speak them as much as they used to because it's all part of that forced assimilation that in the boarding schools we weren't allowed to speak our own language. We were all forced to learn English and not speak our own language. So when people hear us speaking our own language, they make fun of us. They tell us that's not right. That sounds weird. It's not okay. When in reality, they're probably uncomfortable with us for being ourselves because that's what everybody's been taught.
Yeah, I think you bring up a good point, Jameson, that, you know, our songs are so much more than just a song too. Do you maybe want to elaborate on that a little bit?
Well, I can say that when people hear something that's not what they're used to hearing, people are so quick to judge, and it's like every day, people around the world, I don't know, just people are really quick to judge.
Yeah, and I think there's so much, you know, beauty in the songs and how different they are across Indian country and what they represent. A lot of times they represent hope and prayers, and they're ways to communicate not only with each other, but with our ancestors and the Creator, and are really grounding for many people.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Oh, I just wanted to touch on how actually a lot of songs and like a lot of our culture was not allowed for a long time. It was basically illegal to, and a lot of the times if you were caught either singing prayer songs or, you know, like dancing or anything like that in your culture, then you could have been killed or, you know, things like that. It was very scary, and I just want to say I'm very grateful that we can practice these things today, and I feel like it's very important to embrace that part of our culture because, you know, like our ancestors kind of fought a long time to be able to have that today.
Yeah, thank you. I think that's a really good point, that a country founded on religious freedom banned our people and Indian people across the country from practicing their religion for a really long time. Yeah, go ahead, Jameson.
So I can add on, one of the important things is Sundance to me, because we pray and we learn all these things. And it was actually illegal until 1978, until it was actually allowed to do our traditions and pray.
Yeah. All right, Meme, you had something you wanted to add.
Oh yeah. What I want to say was because like how people like think how we act as well too. How we just stumble everywhere. We're unintelligent creatures that just walk the earth. Like how they portrayed us in like old cartoons and stuff. Just walking like screaming around like idiots. Just that's not how we are though, because they portrayed us horribly in shows and movies. Old kid shows.
Yeah. All right, we got to wrap it up here, and I want you to start for us. If there was one thing that you could share with folks who are going to get to watch this video that you want them to know about Native people, what would that be?
If you see something wrong or something, or if a teacher's miseducating, speak up. Speak up.
Yep, your voice is your power for sure. Meme, did you wanna?
Yeah, I wanted to say something actually. Yeah, because just what Jameson said. Yeah, if you're a student in a school and the teachers are teaching something that's not right, like you think it's wrong, you gotta say something. The smallest things can help us strive to what's good. Just the smallest thing, like just a kid, just one person can help us if they see something that they think is wrong.
Yeah. Ryder?
One thing that I would like people to take away from this is, just like have a strong voice, because, one voice, like Meme was saying, means a lot. It's important. And, you might think like you're wrong, but it might just be because of you were taught wrong. So you should really just speak your mind and be who you are. And that goes for everybody,
I agree. Thank you. Cheske?
I would say that if you're like a Washichu person or like a white person and you like want to learn about like Native culture, don't use Google. Google's not really a reliable source. Google is run by like government, and the best source is probably elders.
I completely agree. That is a great takeaway. How about you, Robert?
Pretty much, I just wanted to say the same thing as they were saying, like speak up if something is wrong. Don't keep being ignorant.
Yeah. Serene and Sienna?
You want to go first? Yeah, probably just like try to learn about our culture before you judge it.
Sorry, I missed that. I could barely hear you.
Wait, loud. Oh, okay. To try and like learn about our culture before judging it.
Serene?
Okay. Well, for me, I want to take part in using my sacred voice to advocate for the missing murdered Indigenous women, which is a whole different topic. That is, I don't know if I should touch on that or not, but basically there's like a lot of violence and drug use and abuse and poverty in the Native community. And I feel it is important to self-educate yourself, and not only that, but if possible, educate others on certain issues that are being highlighted in today's society. And for other kids, maybe like Native kids or something, I feel like making a difference in a community can just start with making a decision to be healthy. And this can include staying away from drugs and alcohol and violence and stuff like that. And it may seem like just you making the difference to not do those things is not a lot, but it helps stop the unhealthy cycle in our community, and others can see the change and maybe want to choose that way of life too. And I feel like
it's our responsibility as the next generation to change in our community and restore our traditional lifestyle.
I agree. Ava, and then we'll wrap up with Ryder.
Can I touch on one thing real quick?
Yeah, of course.
Be proud of who you are. Our ancestors fought for us to still be here today.
Thank you. Ava?
Ask questions. When something doesn't sound right, ask questions. Even if it sounds right, ask questions. And also, who's telling you this? Who are you learning this from? What are they saying? What are their eyes saying and their mouth isn't saying? Look. You have to look, because some of this stuff just isn't on the surface. Some of this stuff is deep in our society. Its roots have been growing in our society since our society has been born. So look for those pockets of darkness and wonder about it, ask about it, bring awareness to it. Ask, why is it here? Ask yourself questions. Ask questions, because knowledge is power. That is what they're keeping from us, is knowledge. That's what they're keeping from other people. And I know lots of other kids will see this, and at a young age, it is very important to ask these things and wonder. So I'll say it again. Knowledge is power, and you need to ask questions.
Agreed. Thanks, Ava. Ryder?
Just like I said before, just, speak up. I like what Ava said with the ask questions, because it is important to, make sure that what you're being taught is correct. So that's all I got.
Yeah. Thank you all so much. I think it's so important to have, especially Native students, share their experience to help with those misconceptions, to try to address some of those stereotypes and show people that, like you all said so many times, we are still here. Our communities are resilient, our people are resilient, and we are still here. And unfortunately, it is up to us in many ways to educate and to change that narrative and really use your voice as power, which you all did absolutely beautifully today. So thank you so much. And thank you to the Vikings and Character Playbook and Everfi for providing this opportunity. If you do want to learn more about Native culture, please follow us on Twitter and Instagram at NativeMNFacts. We post a lot of information about tribes here in Minnesota and issues across Indian country. Our website, understandnativeminnesota.org, understandnativemn.org is a great resource also. Thank you all so much for joining us today, and I hope to see you all soon.
Thank you so much. Thank you.